This demonstration will illustrate how to budget for assets, liabilities, and equities using QuickBooks Accountant.
To begin the budget process for the balance sheet, we select the company menu item located here, planning and budgeting, and then set up budgets, similar to what we did for revenues and expenses. The budget we're going to create in this instance is the balance sheet by account budget for 2016. When we select that, we get a blank slate of zero balances because we have not yet set up the budget. Now it's time for us to enter data with respect to what we expect these accounts to be during the period.
As we enter in the data, it's very important for us to have made sure that all of our assets and liabilities and equities are input and that we have ended up with a balanced balance sheet of the budget. Please note that accumulated depreciation, because it is an asset and a contra asset at that, needs to be entered in as a negative number. Once we've entered into the data into the budget, we can create a balance sheet budget overview. This is what the balance sheet looks like as of March 31st, 2016. Notice how our total assets of $1 million equals our total liabilities and owner's equity. This is critically important. This is the only time in which QuickBooks will actually produce an unbalanced balance sheet if you enter in data that doesn't add up. Under normal process, as we enter in our debits and credits and our business transactions, QuickBooks will force us to be in balance. The balance sheet, in particular, as it relates to the budget information, isn't always in balance. So it's very critical to generate this budget overview so that we can see that assets equals liabilities plus equity.
Once the budget information is input, we can generate a second report called the Balance Sheet Budget versus Actual Report. It's going to incorporate the budget we just created with the budget overview, but it's also going to compare it to the actual data we've already been entering into QuickBooks. Now we can see the difference between our budget and actual in a dollar over budget, and the relative percentage and relationship between that and other assets. Notice here that we have a pretty significant change between budget and actual, whereas here we're pretty close to on target. This report is currently reflecting only the asset side of the budget versus actual report. The next screen will show the liabilities and equity portion. This is the liability and equity portion of the balance sheet budget versus actual report. It does the same thing as the first half you saw for assets, but it does it for liabilities and equity. This ends the demonstration for balance sheet budgeting.